Hello everyone, welcome back. I'm the type of person that likes to understand and kind of judge people's favorite books. It tells so much about someone, about their personality and their taste, and how they classify their favorite books. For example, I classify my books not necessarily because they are good, but because they moved me in some way. It's the type of book that if I could erase my memory to read again, I would love to do that, and I would do that immediately. So that's my system for my favorite books, for my 5-star books, and I'm going to share with you 5 of them. Only 5 because I just couldn't remember 5. I'm going to share 5 of my favorite books here. You can judge me, leave in the comments what you think, but I'm not going to recommend them to you. I know it's shocking, but hear me out. I'll share my favorite books with you, and I'll tell you why you probably wouldn't like it, and you can judge if you actually like them, but that's not the point here. It's just a fun twist of the 5-star read recommendations. I just thought I wouldn't recommend them. So right off the bat, let's start with my number 1 book, and that is The Count of Monte Cristo. Why you wouldn't like this book? Well, it's a long book, and I mean very long book. At least my edition was divided in 2 books, 600 pages each book, like a bit over that actually. You should take your time reading that one. It has a lot of details, and because it's too long, you probably forget some of them. Like by the end, you forget the beginning. The main character, so Edmond Dantes, that is the Count of Monte Cristo. This is no spoiler, right? Like, this book is old enough not to be a spoiler. So he doesn't appear all the time. It's his story, his revenge story, but he's not on screen all the time. But the story is about the revenge itself. So not about the character itself. If that makes sense. The main character doesn't have all the screen time, but the side characters, they do. Like, we have a lot of side characters. All of their stories are intertwined, so it makes sense because we understand one to understand the other and see the consequences and reactions of everything and how the revenge plan works. But it may be a bit too much, and we get involved with all the side characters. Like, they're not just passing by. We actually learn about them, everything about them. It's a slow revenge, like very, very slow. It's a long plan to be executed over time. For me, it's perfect, but if you want something faster, no, this is not the book for you. Again, it's a long book. You won't like this book if you don't like morally gray characters. And I know this prompt is overused nowadays. The protagonist, so the Count of Monte Cristo, he is not a hero. He actually goes over and beyond. Like, he does the revenge double-fold. So if you don't like all that I said, I don't recommend my number 1 favorite book. To a more recent favorite book, I offer you The Cruel Prince. And I know, probably this is already not on your favorite book list, but hear me out because I'll tell you why it shouldn't be. If you're looking for world building and very defined rules in fantasy, this is not for you. We only see what is necessary. So if you want something more concrete and planned, this is not for you. If you want romance in fantasy, this is actually for you, but not if you want something that is very clear and evident. You actually have to find the little pieces, all the little tips that are hidden and scattered around the books and in the pages. So yeah, the romance is there, but you actually have to work for it. You do have to work for it. The politics is confusing. It honestly is. You understand what is happening, but again, some points in the politics is hidden across the pages and in the text. So not actually that easy to understand. The main character is not a morally gray character. She's more like a psychopath. She's a bit crazy, and I kind of identified. I think I should be worried. This is not a sweet protagonist. This is not a super powerful with magic powers female protagonist. She is not. Fae? If you don't like fairies, fae in the mythological sense, you won't like this book. And what I mean by mythological, the fairies don't necessarily have wings. For example, the male protagonist, he has a tail. So if you don't like tails, don't read this book. Moving on to another recent favorite book of mine, we have Happy Place. So why you wouldn't like Happy Place? If you want a spicy romance, no, you won't find it here. This is a very dramatic, not even a slow burn, it's more like a slow understanding. So we do have miscommunication here. If you don't like miscommunication, don't read this book. We have anxious and depressed characters. It's not over the top, but I feel some people might find it unrealistic. Place, the Happy Place, is a house and there's a bit of over sentimentalism over the house. The Happy Place is a special location, but if you want something that treats the location as a character, for example, Encanto. So the casita is a character in itself. If you want something like that, no, you won't find it here. It's just the house itself, the location of the Happy Place is just a location. The characters may act too young for their age. So like they joke a lot, they act like teenagers, but they are over their 30s. You may find them kind of immature. We have side characters here, but we don't know much about them. We learn about them, but if you want something more in depth, where you have a found family and you learn a lot about all the members of this found family, no, this is not the book for you. We go briefly over them, just enough. My next favorite book is Starter Villain. Again, a recent read. So this book I can summarize with what the fuck is happening here. It's a crazy book, not to be taken seriously, so if you don't want humor and you don't want jokes all over the book, this is not the book for you. It has a lot of jokes. Again, this is a humor book, so expect that. This is a book from a cat lover to other cat lovers, so yeah, dogs are not the center here. We have a lot of cats and a love for the cats. We have an exposure of real life in late capitalism. So if you don't like to talk about anti-capitalism, this is not the book for you. If you want a storyline that actually makes totally sense and it's something that could happen to you in real life, no, this is not the book for you. You will identify with the characters, with the main character, but no, nothing that happened to him will actually happen to you in your real life or in any scenario. You never face that. If you don't like pop culture reference, again, this is not the book for you. We do have pop culture references. And my last book for this video is The Subtle Knife. This is the second book on his Dark Materials series by Philip Pullman. It has already an age to this book, but I love it. So this is the second book. You need to read the first to get to this one. This one is better, in my opinion. The second protagonist in this book is better, more interesting, better written than the first one that we follow over the course of the first book. And suddenly the second book starts with another protagonist. You may get a bit lost. This is a fantasy book, but it has sci-fi elements, so not just fantasy. It has a pet magic system. So if you don't like pets, if you want like elemental magic systems, again, not for you. We have a lot of subplots that mix together other elements in this world, and it can be confusing. I have to say, it's been a long time since I last read it, but I don't think there are plot holes. The protagonists, they are just kids, so not teenagers or young adults. So no, you won't find romance in here. And there you have it. These are my favorite books and why you wouldn't like them, why you shouldn't read them. So if you did read them or if you want to read them, leave in the comments, let me know. Do you have any other suggestions? What's your favorite book that you think people wouldn't like, or you think people wouldn't like, and why wouldn't they like them? I hope you had some fun with this little twist, and I'll see you on the next video. Bye!